Hello everyone, welcome to Salesforce Apex Hours. My name is Bill Appleton. I'm an expert on APIs and artificial intelligence. And today I'm going to show you our Snapshot product. First we're going to have a brief presentation, and then after that a live demo where I will show you how to find and remove technical debt from your org, how to generate org documentation for compliance and due diligence, and how to optimize org security with profiles and permission sets. All right, so Metazoa builds Snapshot, which is a toolkit that helps Salesforce administrators and developers manage their org. You can find and remove technical debt, you can generate org documentation for compliance and due diligence, and you can optimize security with profiles and permission sets. And so that's what Snapshot is all about, keeping your org healthy and running properly. So on the App Exchange, we have 6 different titles, but the main title is Snapshot, and that's in the far right-hand column. That includes all of the features and functionality. And on the left-hand column, you can see the 6 things that Snapshot really does. The first 3 are what I call the big 3: technical debt removal, documentation and compliance, and security and profile management. And then after that, we have some tooling that supports the big 3 but can also be used for special projects. We have a great prompt engineering platform for org transformation and prompt automation. We have great relational data migration technology to move connected sets of data between orgs. And lastly, we have metadata deployment tools that are used to maintain the org, but especially also for complex projects like org splits, clones, and merges. So first up is technical debt removal, and we have an entire suite of applications that not only find technical debt, but they also remove it from your org. For example, our Forgotten Assets report will find 150 different types of metadata assets that are disconnected, not active, not being used, not being invoked, so on and so forth, and identify those as technical debt for removal. We have great documentation and compliance capabilities. Our data dictionary has been around forever. The new org dictionary will generate customizable reports for all 300 of your metadata types. And we have a number of other applications for documentation and compliance, such as Apex Code Quality, Apex Code Coverage, all of your profiles and permission sets in matrix view as well. For security and profile management, we have a suite of applications to help there manage profiles, manage permission sets. One application I'll call out is the ability to merge similar profiles and kick out permission sets that make up the difference. This is the key application available for moving away from profiles and adopting permission sets and permission set groups. We have a great prompt engineering platform. Our Metadata Studio comes with 150 pre-built prompts. This is really great for prompt automation and org transformation. But AI appears in many places in our product for explaining assets, for generating SOQL filters, for helping you understand errors, for generating descriptions on metadata types and things like that. We have the only dedicated suite of tooling for org splits, clones, and merges, and that's our relational data migration and metadata deployment technology. Really simplifies the ability to divide an org in 2, to merge 2 different orgs, to clone an org, to reboot an org, and those are all mission-critical special projects. Everything that I'm going to show you today can be done in the context of org monitoring, so you can set up Snapshot to watch an org and send out a workflow alert if bad metadata or low quality Apex is deployed to the org. For example, you can watch a particular set of permissions and send out an alert if they change. At the very least, you can simply take a metadata backup of your org every couple of days, and this backs up all 300 metadata types in the org. Those can easily be restored with our metadata deployment tooling. Snapshot is a zero trust environment. It's a desktop application. Like Salesforce DX or Visual Studio Code, it runs on your personal computer and talks directly to your Salesforce accounts. So that means that there's no intermediate server, there's no intermediate database, and so there's no way that Metazoa can lose your data or your credentials. We don't have them. It's all managed on your computer with your infrastructure. Here we are in Snapshot. This is a Snapshot workspace. Mine is pretty complex. Yours could be much simpler. I've got production orgs and sandboxes and developer projects all connected here on the workspace. You can create these items right here. And when you create an item, you take a snapshot, which logs into any Salesforce org and brings all the metadata down to your desktop. And then we can run all of these amazing reports using that metadata. So for example, you'll see documentation reports, optimization reports, and security reports. Those are the big three we were talking about earlier. You can also connect these items with these arrows like this. And then if you right-click the arrow, you can do deployments, migrate data, or look at the metadata differences. So I don't have time to show you all of Snapshot. I'm just going to show you a couple of the highlights. Let's look in documentation at impact analysis. Metazoa has the world's most complete impact analysis API. We cover 1,400 different relationships between metadata types. And so you can simply select any type over here at left. Here we've selected Lightning record pages, and you can then select any of the different assets that you're interested in over here at right. Go to impact analysis, and in this case we will see everything that's embedded in this Lightning record page. So there's reports, and they're connected to report types. There's flows that are connected to a custom object and some fields. There's dashboards that are connected to a number of fields and a group of 8 reports. And there's an Apex page that's connected also to the account object. And so now I could, for example, dive into these reports. What are they? And look at what those are connected to over here. Now, how is the opportunity object connected back to my original Flexi page? I can trace the path and go all the way back and see how that's connected. The other thing I can do is I can then select any one of these assets. For example, let's select the opportunity object and go here. And when I do that, I'll see everything that the opportunity is connected to over here on the right, and I'll see everything that is connected to the opportunity object over here at left. So this is a key technology that's useful for understanding deployments, that's useful if you're going to try to delete an asset or deploy an asset, or even if you just want to understand how things are put together and structured. So for example, how is this Flexi page referenced by the opportunity? If you double click on the arrow, you'll see, oh, it's an action override. That's how it's being referenced. And what does this Flexi page do anyway? You can right click and say explain Flexi pages. And when you do that, it'll bring up an AI-powered interface. We can look at the functional specification of the Flexi page and submit the prompt, and you get a complete report on the functional specification for that Flexi page. So extremely powerful technology for understanding how orgs are put together. All right, let's now take a look at some of the optimization tools. We have a really great field usage and picklist usage report. Here's forgotten assets, which will identify technical debt in 160 metadata types. Let's take a look at Apex code quality. That's a nice one. Now, this report will let you select any of your Apex classes or triggers over here at left, and we'll perform static analysis on the selected class. And you can click right here and see where all of these quality issues are in your Apex. And what you can do is simply check all of these boxes and go to the Display Report tab. And just like that, you will get a roll-up of all of the Apex quality issues in your entire org, all nicely color-coded. You can export that in every imaginable format, including native Excel. You've got dashboards as well, which are color-coded and very interactive and easy to work with. You can also export those, and summary tables as well. So this gives you a complete report on all of your Apex. The other thing you can do, though, is you can select any one of these classes that has a quality problem and bring up the editing palette and make quality improvements with AI right here. And you can submit the changes, and here's the newly written class, and we can check and see that resolves your quality problems for that class. And so you can also do multiple improvements where you improve all of the quality on all of your classes with just a few clicks. All right, lastly, let's look at some of the security optimization technology in Snapshot. Here's the Profiles and Permission Sets report. Now, this report will first show you all of your different profiles, and the profiles are down the left-hand side, and in this case, we've selected object permissions across the top. And so you get this matrix view of all of your object permissions. But we could look at apex permissions, application visibility, record types versus layouts, tab visibility, any of the different permissions in your profile. And you can do the same here with your permission sets, of course, and with your permission set groups. Now, in the case of permission set groups, it rolls up all of the different permission sets minus the muting permission, and what you see here are the actual permissions that each group has, and here's groups down the left. Lastly, you can also look at object permissions where you select users down the left-hand side, and in this case, object permissions across the top. And so you can actually see the rolled up permissions of that user for that object. So for example, this user started out with create, delete, edit, and read access for the account object and was assigned a number of profiles and permission sets and ended up with full access. So this is a key report for org security. And once again, you can just click all these buttons over here at left, go to the Display Report tab, and get a gigantic roll-up report of all of your org's permissions. So this is really key for compliance, for due diligence, and just for keeping a record of all of your org permissions over time. If we go to look at some of the arrows here, what you'll see right here, for example, is the metadata differences report. And this will show you the differences between those two orgs. And once again, everything's color-coded. You can dive into all of the differences. You can do reporting on the differences. You can then select any metadata types that you want to analyze the differences, go to the Display Report tab, and you get a gigantic difference report on all of the differences color-coded here for your org. And you can really customize that. So for example, we can hide identical assets or missing on the destination or missing assets and just focus on similar and different assets. So very easy to customize. It gives you great information about org differences. The other thing you can do, of course, is you can double-click the arrow or bring up the metadata deployment tooling, and this has really strong org-to-org deployment capabilities where you can build up a job list and see all the differences color-coded by the differences between the org, and go to deploy the metadata and do a validating deployment, transactional deployment, or if it's a sandbox, you can just change everything possible. So really strong deployment tools. Also on the arrow under data sets, you will find the ability to build, migrate, and manage data sets, moving connected sets of data between orgs, especially helpful for seeding sandboxes. All right, that is a quick overview of Metazoa Snapshot. Thank you for joining us for our Apex Hours presentation. Apex Hours has great content at their website, on LinkedIn, and on YouTube, so check them out for all of the different videos that they have. Thank you very much.